Greetings, River Lady here, and it's time to do a little bit of deadheading of my herbaceous peonies. Now, the reason I mention herbaceous peonies is because there are 3 different types of peonies, but the type that I have are the ones that die back in the late autumn, early winter, then re-emerge again in the spring, thus making them herbaceous peonies. All right, all I'm going to do is remove the spent blossoms. This peony that you're looking at here is Karl Rosenfield. It has good, sturdy, strong stems, and I planted this in honor of my Sheltie that passed 4 years ago. My little Penny. Here she is when I first moved in, sitting in the garden. She was a sweet dog. Anyway, so we're just going to get in there and cut off those spent blossoms, and then I'll show you a couple of my other peonies. So let's get going. I am going to do this with one hand while holding the camera with the other hand. So here you can see I have a spent blossom on a nice sturdy stem. And then I have another beautiful blossom. You can get in there and see the yellow stamens. Just gorgeous. And that's on a wimpy stem. But I'm going to leave that, and I'm going to take this guy off. And all I need to do is just take an angled cut with the angle facing down. Now you can take, if you have no signs of disease, you can then put these peonies in your compost bin. If you have a single blossom on the stem, you want to take the stem down to the first fully developed leaves. On this stem, if we follow it down, you see we have these leaves here, but they're not fully developed. This set of leaves is. So I am going to take an angled cut right above that set of leaves. Same thing here. I have this spent blossom. I have a leaf right here, but I'm going to go down to this set of fully formed leaves. And again, these spent blossoms can go right into my compost bin. Right here I have a spent blossom. Bypass these 3 leaves. Let me turn my pruners around and then take an angled cut. And that's all there is to it. Now I've brought you over to my hummingbird garden where I have another peony bush, another herbaceous peony. This one is called Riches and Fame. And I planted this peony for my sister's birthday. She always dreamt of riches and fame, and her favorite flowers were peonies. And as you can see, all the blossoms on this plant are spent. So I'm going to get in there and take all those stems down to the first fully developed leaves on the stem and clean this baby up. There we go. She's all done. All the spent blossoms have been taken off. I've taken my angled cut down to my first set of fully developed leaves. Now, if you decide you want the stem a little shorter and you want to go down to another set of leaves, feel free. Wow, is it noisy here today? So as I said, once you're finished deadheading your peony, you want to feed her, but you first want to get in there and clean up all those spent petals that are underneath the plant, and you want to pull up any weeds. I am going to go do that, and I will be right back. I'm back. I've cleaned up underneath my peony, and you can see the little piles, because now it's time to feed my peony. You feed your herbaceous peonies 3 times a year. You feed them in the spring when they are emerging, after you have deadheaded them, and then again in the autumn when they are starting to die back. I feed my peonies compost. That is the most recommended food. You don't want to give them any synthetic plant food. You can give them an organic plant food, but there's nothing better than compost. So I use a mushroom compost, as you know if you've watched my other videos. Notice that I don't have it tight to the crown of the plant. I am under the drip line. If you go too close to the crown, you risk causing the crown to rot, and by staying out under the drip line, you encourage a really good developed root system. So what I'm going to do now is just use my little tool, and I'm going to work that compost in. All right, compost has been worked in, and the next step is to water the plant. Peonies do not like to have their feet soaked, but they do like to have a moisture to the soil. So you want to try to keep them from drying out, and you want to water them around the drip line. This is another one of my Riches and Fame peonies. This is actually a piece that I took off of the plant I was just showing you, and you can see the star of Hydrangea 911 down there in the right-hand corner. corner. So just still hoping for some buds on that plant. Let me zoom in and show you how I have the drip hose wrapped around the plant, and I will be doing a video on the new watering system a friend of mine has devised. He's always creating things, and I think you might like using it. All right, drip system is in place, and that's it for me. I've got nothing else. I'll show you my yarrow in bloom and give you a shot of the river, because let's face it, this is just the best part of being here. I thank you for watching. This is River Lady saying happy gardening.